Hello, everybody. Last time we worked on this moss farm, and I have been letting it chug away, only stopping it when I leave chunks and come back, and I turn it right back on, and we have let it go. Been using it almost as fast as it's making it, but it's finally slowed down a little. And I think I'm ready to show you what we are going to use this for. In fact, I might need to find a spot to show you from. So here, let me go find that spot. All right, so our base is actually just over this way. I don't know if I've shown where we were. So our base should be, yeah, you can see one of the buildings, and there's the tower that just loaded in. And so if we go this way, trying to keep the camera low, and I'm gonna die doing it. Go over this way through this cool little cave. Oh, look at that. Now, I think that's pretty cool. Some quick caveats. I've actually done this just freehand. I didn't make this in creative. I didn't port anything over. I just did an outline of the main components, which is like the edges, and then I filled it in and tried to be, um, I don't know, tried to make it uneven, make it look realistic. And there's some problems with it, but I think the point of this whole thing is that building takes time to get good at. You got to build things that aren't your best work and then learn from them. And so some of the things about this is like it's done on both sides, but they're not exactly the same. Not by a long shot, actually. Because like I said, I kind of freehanded it. I don't love building things in creative and then having to come in and rebuild something that I've built in creative in survival. I don't find that has the I don't know. It doesn't do it for me. I can't quite describe why. But this I am super proud of. And we got more to do with it just yet. So some of the things that I don't like that I should learn from are the like cheek areas. I went too heavy on depth there. You can see it like it almost juts out if I go from behind on either side. It's not the best look. But that being said, from this angle, well, that one looks worse than the other. Let's look at this angle. Yeah, I don't know. It's okay. It's not the best. Um, and inside, there's actually a surprising amount of room. Our farm, it's also not lit up in here. Our farm is actually not centered under this. I think it's like under these blocks over here. Oh, yeah, that's the entrance right there. It's a little prop. So it's not centered. I don't know if that's going to be the main point of being over here. Oh, the sun going down in the mouth. That is cool. That is cool. But this took a lot of bone blocks. Holy. It's something else. So there's a few things I'd like to do with this. First thing is I was trying to think what is like who would live in this thing? If I was to put some villagers. Actually, let me sleep real quick. Okay. So I was thinking if I was to make a villager house in here, or villager a village, I guess, in here, what would the point need to be? Because I have villagers in separate buildings, so like I have a library that has librarians. You know, you have the smithing place that has the armor and the I don't know what the other guys are called, the iron guy, and I have a stone place for the stone masters, stone masons. That's it. And so, what kind of guy goes in here? I mean, it's weird. It's wacky. It's not normal. What kind of crazed person would live in here? And I have an idea. I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna have cartographers in here. And that sounds pretty normal at first, except that the cartographers are these adventurers. blocks that go around and sell you maps to the sea temples and the woodland mansions. And so if we have some crazy guy who's going out and seeing the world and he finds something like this on his travels, he might set up shop in one of these. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to find a way to make a hanging house in here, or a hanging, maybe a shop is the proper term, that you could fly in, get your map, learn where things are, and then go on an adventure, which I think is just going to be super cool. There's a few more things we got to do before we get to that point, though. So right now, our friend here, I need to find the name for him, but he's a little toothless. So we need to get some teeth on this guy. And so I have an idea of using polished diorite so we can have some depth to them and have some shape. I'm not sure how it's going to blend with just, like, this is just pure bone. So maybe I need to even go through here and replace some of the bone blocks with other blocks. Ooh, that harsh line kills me. This line. Well, some other options we have for just, I don't know what's called this, marring the surface, or some calcite. That goes fairly well if we were to just be speckling that through. Yeah, it blends okay. So we could just speckle that throughout. But for the teeth, I think we're going to have to use the diorite because the calcite doesn't have stairs and slabs. And then, once I get the teeth on, some other ideas, I would love to have something on the back. Maybe, his spine coming out and, like, connecting to the ground, like he is laying down or something. I'm not quite sure. Or maybe I build the ground up on here. You can see the back is a little too uniform. It's not natural looking. And then the other thing that I would like to do is go over this with vines and leaf blocks and make artificial vines hanging down, like things are just growing off of him, and then to also go around him where he would be and build garden type stuff, so greenery things, because he left good ground. He's fertilized the ground, so to speak, and is making good things. So I brought some materials over. I was going to try and use pointed dripstone for his teeth. I've tried that, and it looks not great. They just go one flat direction, and I kind of want the teeth to be almost like fanged, or curved in a way. So, like, if we were looking at a side view, oh man, you can't do a side view of stairs. Never mind. Well, we'll just pretend it's a really fat tooth, but it would be like that, where it has this curve to it. And I have some lights and some, I think there's wool in here. Yeah, so we could try and make some carpets and put the lights on there if the lights are if they stand out too much, because I'd love to have them kind of glow. And then I have the greenery box, and I also have mushroom stems to try and sprinkle throughout there just to see if that is better than the calcite. But mushroom stems they're not hard to get, but I don't have a farm for them, so we'll see how that goes. Then I have a few different types of leaves. Got mangrove, acacia, and oak. Oh, and azalea. So maybe we get some of those too. I think that's the next step, is to just go through and, well, first teeth, see how that looks, and then hertify it a little bit. Make it feel a little less like I sculpted it out of the ground, and make it look like it's been in the ground and we are uncovering it. So I will get to work on that, and I think this will be a good change of pace. We've done a few redstone intensive kind of episodes, and this will be more of a creative outlet, which I think has turned out pretty well. I'm excited about this. This is out of my comfort zone for building, and I think it turned out well. So, anyway, we will come back with some more progress on the skull. And more work has been done. We have some speckling throughout. We ended up using mainly calcite. I think it's the closest match to bone. Pretty good. The true closest match would probably be like iron blocks, but they have the striping that's pretty tough to look at. But we used calcite, we used diorite, and we used some polished diorite, and then we got the teeth going. So we ended up not using the polished stuff for the teeth because the lines on it are just they're very harsh. So we used the regular diorite, and we used some walls to add some rounding to it, and then we speckled those as well. I think it's pretty good. I didn't put a ton of teeth in. I think just having, I think it's 8 teeth, kind of gets the point across. Four on bottom, four on top, and then we added some greenery, just a few places. I think there's more on this side because I care about this side more. There's a little bit on this side here. And then we used frog lights. We used I believe they're ochre lights. They're kind of just the closest color match of a light source. And I guess my reasoning, my what do you call it, my story, I guess, for those is, the guy who's gonna live in here. Well, you got to put some lighting in. And speaking of that, the guy that's gonna live in here, think about who would live in the skull of an ancient beast. It has to be some crazy guy. And because of that, I have gotten some ideas. I do think we are going to end up going with like a cartographer looking guy. I think those are the guys with the spectacle, but we'll have to double check. But I don't think there's going to be a ton of use. What might happen, I still want to be able to try and purchase maps here. So we might have a space where we can like request a new cartographer and send them up, because the problem is, I might have mentioned this earlier, but a cartographer will only sell, like if he sells a map to let's say a woodland mansion, he only sells maps to one specific woodland mansion. A different cartographer might sell a woodland mansion map to a different one, but that cartographer only sells the one kind of map. So we might have a button that says, bring us another cartographer and take this one away. And we'll see how that works. But there will be one guy that's kind of our crazy weirdo who lives here. And I have some interesting things planned for that as well. I think crazy weirdos will have some niches that could be kind of fun to try and figure a few things out. I have some ideas. I'll leave it at that. But the next step is to figure out what we want to do inside of here. Because I think we've basically finished the outside. What do we want to do inside? I think a lot of it I might leave alone. I think the torches have to go. We have to find a better light source. We might use some, what do you call the lantern things? They might just be called lanterns. Iron lamps? Lanterns? Haven't used them in a long time. Something like that. And we might use those and hang them from the ceiling, because having a long hanging light is kind of cool looking. But I also think we'll try and hang his house and look like it's bolted to the top of the skull here and hanging down. And then you can fly in and land like right here at eye level and interact with that guy, or lore wise interact with him, and then there'll be the place to request a new cartographer. So yeah, I mean, going through all of the speckling, we reclaimed several stacks of bone blocks. Probably should have done that sooner, because I know a few points in there where I was waiting on bone blocks to be generated by muscle. I don't think I have that thing going. Speaking of, oh well, missing out on a little bit, but we reclaimed a bunch. We might not need it for a while. So I'm gonna look into what we can do to do a hanging situation, a hanging house situation, and man, the other question is, how do we get a villager here? Ooh, I might wait for a zombie. I might spend some nights and look for a zombie villager. I'm gonna put a timer on myself. I started curing the guy, and then I thought, you know what? I used his AI to just walk him on up here to my unfinished house that doesn't even have a full. It doesn't have a full anything. Full roof. Nothing. Okay, this will get him up here. I just. Let's go. Come on. Come on. Okay, I need to get to the top and put an enclosure on him while he finishes converting. I think he's still going to convert. Oh! Why is he falling? Is he going to kill himself? Okay, well, I'm going to wait and I'm going to finish this setup. I think I'm just going to try and jump up there. Oh, come on. Come on. It's okay. Any problems? Nice. Okay, and last, just to plop one of these down. And he should finish converting. Ooh. Very nice. Hey, we got him. Got him up here. Now we gotta finish building his house. You get to watch the construction. It's gonna be so cool. All right, we've gotten a lot more done. Let's take a look. We've gotten a place for our villager to live, and our villager is here. It's not the best entrance ever. I don't know if I want to connect this or not, but we have a little shop here for Cornelius. I think it's kind of... I know it's goofy, but it's fun to get into it. He's got his parrot, he's got his fish, and his axolotl, and he even... I mean, he collects rare things. He's got a strider here. This was kind of a pain to get. I encountered a weird bug when getting this guy here. Apparently mobs that aren't players can't go through portals that aren't linked properly. So, like, I had a portal built here and a portal built in the nether, and I moved the portal in the nether down lower so I could hopefully just... It would be easier, to get the strider. And he just wouldn't go through it, so then I had to find... I couldn't figure out why. Figured out the bug report, and then I went and fixed it. The only thing really left to do is to clean up all of the scaffolding, which is... I don't really need it, so I'll probably just knock out the bases. We can do that real quick. And I guess the bottom probably needs to be lit up, but I'm not exactly sure what I want to do with that yet until I have some true inspiration. It's not worth doing a bad job of it, because then I'll just have to redo it. But let's take a look with it. Or a look at it in its current final form. Oh god, almost final form. Okay. That's pretty cool. Zombie moving down in there in Cornelius's little shop. And the other thing that I said we'd do is we'd find a way to get more villagers and kind of request a new map on at some point. But I think that's a future project. We'd need a villager breeder and a way to like send a villager up probably, because I assume I'd do it down low. We have stuff like that built. But yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? Got some plants. I got some glow vines all over now, which I think adds a lot to it. I'm trying to like go off this eccentric feel. Cornelius, the eccentric traveler. He knows things. He's seen things, and he also collects things. I think it's kind of cool. That being said, I think that will be it for this. So let's just get one final look at our new build. And it's not done. I hate saying things are done because you can always come back. You can always get more inspiration. But yeah, thanks for watching. And I think I'm gonna end with a little nighttime view of it, and then hope to see you next time. Thanks again. Bye.